Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. I'd like to call your attention to a multiple page report written by first responder Officer Ryan Snyder of the Moscow Police Department. This is dated November 13th, 2022. It is the date of the crimes that occurred at 1122 King Road. Amongst other matters, Officer Snyder indicates that on page 1, under the evidence section, that there were photos burned to a CD and booked into evidence. Later on in this report, there is a listing of approximately 182 photographs that Officer Snyder stated that he took inside 1122 King Road and around the property. The date of the crimes, they are not attached to his report. This report is interesting for multiple reasons. Number one, he was a first responder. He tells us under the narrative section that he arrived on scene at about 1200 hours. That would have been about noon on November 13th, 2022. And the purpose for his reporting was to respond to 1122 King Road for the report of an unresponsive person. He goes on in this report to describe the fact that he was the officer who cordoned off the crime scene with the yellow caution tape that you've seen from photographs of 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2022, and thereafter that have appeared in various news reports and other sources. Officer Snyder goes into stating that he interacted with one of the other first responders, Officer Smith, who took photographs of certain footprints in the snow coming from the back door on the back porch. He then goes on to discuss his interactions with Sergeant Gunderson as he went through the property and continued to take photographs of the scene. He then goes into his interactions with who it appears to be, although it's redacted here, JD, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, who had a conversation with Officer Snyder, amongst other things, explained that he owned a dog with Kaylee who lived upstairs at 1122 King Road, as is stated here. And then what I wanted to do is to direct your attention to page 2 of this report. Here is where Officer Snyder addresses his canvassing of the area and his discussions with neighbors adjacent to 1122 King Road. He says here in the first full paragraph, I continue to canvass the area and speak with neighbors at, and there's 3 locations, Queen Road, that are blank here, who stated they did not hear or see anything relevant. He said that he spoke with one of the subjects at blank King Road, and one resident, DD, stated she was walking home from the corner club at about 0300 hours and thought she could hear music or some type of noise, but she couldn't give any clarifying information more than that due to her level of intoxication that night. In the next paragraph, it states here that blank King Road blank resident, it looks like BP, stated at about 400 hours he heard a barking dog coming from the east of his residence. He believed it was the dog at 1 King Road, as he thought that was the only dog in the area. He stated the dog sounded like it was outside and was barking for about 45 minutes until he believed someone must have let it inside at 4:45 a.m. when it stopped. B stated he had a female with him in bed at the time who also heard the dog barking at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time, I believe, that any official document has informed the public of this information, that a neighbor reported to a law enforcement official the day of the crimes, hours later, that this neighbor of 1122 King heard what he thought was the only dog in the area, and that he believed this dog was from the 1122 King Road residence. Sounded to him, as well as to a female that was with him at the time, that the dog was barking for a considerable amount of time, 45 minutes. In the next paragraph, Officer Snyder goes on to talk about his interactions with the residents at 1112 King Road, where the camera that produced the only images that we have ever seen of suspect vehicle 1 that have ever appeared in the court files, and they were published during the in limine filings by both sides. Both sides published photographs from this camera of what they described it to be suspect vehicle 1. We've learned as early as the Affidavit of Probable Cause that this camera at 1112 had audio attached to it because Detective Payne described audio of a loud thump and of a dog barking to help to establish the official timeline of the crimes. Nothing about a dog continuously barking for 45 minutes appears anywhere in the Affidavit of Probable Cause. It will be very interesting when this footage from the 1112 King Road residence is released to the public through official channels, i.e. through the courts or from the Moscow Police Department, because what they have released thus far are a portion of their files, not all of them. And none of the physical evidence itself, such as these photographs that Officer Snyder said he took on November 13th, 2022, have been released, much less video from this important camera to this case at 1112 King Road. If you have any comments, thoughts, please leave them here. If you like our content, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. This is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.